Hi, hello. If you're a parent watching this, you're welcome. If you're not a parent watching this, please forward this to a parent because what I'm about to share is going to be very beneficial. So, I'm going to be sharing a story that happened to me years ago when I was much younger. Yeah, so let's get into it. But before I go into this properly, Ghost Achievers of a brand I am building by God's grace is to celebrating 2 years anniversary. And in this month of September, I thought it best to bring into the body something that will be very beneficial to children and your parents. Okay, so here's the story. I remember the first time I came out second position in primary three. I recall a teacher who was so, you know, in love with seeing children becoming better with their studies, especially at reading. And this woman would say, this teacher, of course, wherever you are, God bless you, Mama, she would say, if you can't read a particular line, reach out to me. Okay. And yeah, we would go over. Just imagine you just read something and you're unable to pronounce it, and you went to meet her. And on coming back again, you're rushing back at her. This woman never got tired. This teacher, of course, was really remarkable. And down the years, I can still remember what she did. And so, on getting the second position, I recall something my dad did for me. It may be seem as little, but it got a long way to spur me to doing better even to date. So what actually happened was that when he saw my report card, because prior to then I don't think I've gotten anything close to that in because I got into the school and had a new change of school with much population. Yeah, and having to compete with a number of person, in classes where there is A, B, C, instead of just them giving your A or B or C. So this is why it's like a more population. They combine the class A, class B, and class C, and that is how they define the results. So you can tell that it's a whole lot. Just leaving it at class A wasn't enough. They had to. So on like that's to say, like for at least three classes, I topped second position. And my dad excitement knew no band. He may not really have expressed it in a way that my little excitement as a child, but what he did was something that teen dates never got out of my mind. What he did specifically was that he took me out and got something. But so, and he was like, "Are you done?" And he was like, "Well done. Well done on doing this." He didn't have to tell me, keep producing this result. No, he didn't have to tell me that. But guess what? From that next term, till I was done with my primary school, I came out first position. So I thought it best and I said, how imagine how this has spurred the young me or the younger version of me to imagine the very best at a time where every other person, the competition kept on being like that. And it was an experience that was unforgettable and was, should I say, a topper to success. So I thought it best that if parents, I know parents are doing this, but there's some parents who may not be able to do this long term, or may not be able to know how best to relate to their child or their children or to celebrate their little wins. Yeah, they do matter. And that was how the me you see today got in, and so far I'm being passionate about helping people achieve their goals. And trust me, if I decide to tell you that you can also spoil your child, may not necessarily be about school report card, but it could be something much more better, you know. But then the little celebration. So this will be coming up in different packages. Whatever you feel like giving to your child is dependent on you, right? But this is a way to launch a kiddies accountability. Yeah, kids accountability. We'll be working on accountability for older persons, students, professionals, working class, parents. But this time around, we want to bring it down to our younger children. And trust me, when you can inculcate these little things by celebrating their wins, checking up on them, knowing how well they fared during those, school while they had a time in school. I know your parent may be really exhausted, but then trusting your child into the hands of someone who is reputable, who has gone through such, and want to see your child win and shine. And let me tell you something. The truth of the matter is that once you can start celebrating those little things, the children are supposed to become to keep doing better no matter what. Even if you don't have to keep giving them those giftings and all of that. But yeah, it's encouraged that you keep doing that. So please, if this is something you want to do for your child, you may not really be able to know what exactly they need per time, or you're so busy, or you want to really see your child among children that are being celebrated. Please do well to dive into this anniversary celebration, and we'll be launching this program with a very little token. So please, if this is something you want to be a part of for your child, you want to register your child, you want any of the packages, do well to DM the number on your screen. A big shout out to you parents. You guys are doing a whole lot. Yeah, a whole lot. And I'll tell you that, yeah, having someone to support and give you feedback of how well your child is faring, checking up on your child weekly, by weekends, because they may go to school from Mondays to Fridays, and then knowing what happened each day and giving you feedback, and then knowing how to relate better with them. It's something that some parents already have easily going for them. But if it is something that you also, even if it is easily going for you, you also want your child to be a part of this, please do it to register your child or your children. Building more on what I spoke about before now, I want to say some things that probably were omitted talking about the kids' accountability. It's more or less like an anniversary celebration, and yeah, being a part of it or registering your child or making inquiries, I'll be getting some questions, and I know that I just got to answer these questions also. Yeah, period to the time, because some person asked, oh wow, great, good news about your result. Yeah, I was in a school where the population wasn't as much like the school I went into, and before then I knew my results were good, although I can't recall honestly the positions from maybe my kindergarten down, but I knew they were good. Yeah, there were times I had very good scores, you right, and yeah, it was really an exciting one. But then the competition wasn't really so much, because it was, should I call it a school that was just there. And yeah, I had good grades, maybe first position, second, third. But coming to a school, I trained and came into the school at primary one, and it was a whole lot because the population was there. And before you could skate through to be one of the best, you know that you must have done so well. Okay, so what are we going to be doing for your child? Firstly, I want you to understand that celebrating your child little wins may not require so much like some people envisage. But at the same time, some of you don't even know that you need to start celebrating your child win as little as it is. Now, let me tell you, let me speak to my parents. Like our parents, you guys are doing a lot, like I've said before. But then you don't need to have it so much. Like it doesn't have to be hard that big before you want to do a celebration, or you want to mark it as remarkable. You're feeling like, oh, I need to have this and that in place, or I'm waiting till that graduation. See, you don't have to wait till they're graduating from maybe nursery or primary school before you start celebrating them. Okay, start wherever you can, wherever your child is now. Please start celebrating them, even if your child came out 20th out of 20 persons in class. There is a way we're going to groom your child. We're going to hold your child accountable, because so many things could have been affecting them in school that probably you may not be able to really tell, even if you ask 1 or 2%. But you really need to ask your child. You need to put your child in the place of communicating effectively with him or her, so that the child is able to express or say exactly what's happening. for mine personally, luckily, when I came in, I really did not see the competition because as young as I was then, I just felt like, oh, this is a new school, and I was really reserved, right? I was really reserved. So I had to come to terms over the years, like for 2 years, before understanding what was going on and how, I still need that. Because I think maybe most children, as young as they are, they want to actually be their best. Like they want to come out as the best, but they may not be having the enabling environment. One of the ways the environment came was through the teacher that was very intentional on we learning how to read effectively, because she realized that, oh, if we could read very well fluently, then getting better with so many other things. In fact, reading was one of the core things that really shapes, because if you can read, you can do a whole lot of things. You could learn mathematics much better. You could, just write essays and so many more. I'm just talking because we're talking about kids, and I'll be sharing much more personal stories and I can relate to them. The truth of the matter is that the fact that I love children a lot is one way that this is going to be much easier. So you also need to understand that apart from the environment we created, you must also learn to appreciate the school administration, the principal, teachers, or whatsoever, proprietors, or whatsoever may be in place. Even the students around them. Then my parents knew my friends. Of course, they knew my friends, right? And they were really glad seeing that I came up with that position. But now I want to give something. I want to share this part of the story because so you really get to understand that I'm not just coming to say this from a place of I want to do something for children. No, there is much more an intimate story. There's much more a place of knowing. So remember, I said that from that primary three down till I left the school, the primary school, even my secondary school, and all of that. My results were also very great. I was very astounding. But that's not what we're talking. So this children or this kids part also passes from their kindergarten, primary, and secondary. Okay, so it's not we have students. Student based comes from the senior secondary because by then we feel like your child must be a teenager, so he or she can join the student body if you wish, or you can leave them as part of the kids. Okay, depending on where you're putting in place. But then, majorly, our student body is for university students. So I'll make a separate video about that, talking about what is in for our students this time around. But for our kids, it is actually a package. Kids actually is from 0 to age of 19, while from 20 years are for the university body. But I know that some persons are already in the uni even before age 20. Okay, so it is understandable. Sharing the story, it is more of something that happened when I was, when I kept having, because I know you may imagine, how did you keep having the same position? Were there no competitions? Yeah, sure they were. In fact, in one, remember I said in all, but except one of the terms in my primary four, you remember I said that, let's say primary 4A, B, C, they don't just leave it at 4A. They combine the O to know the exact result. The exact, the cumulative one, or the person who actually came at first to second. Unfortunately, I came at fourth position that term. It was really painful because period to that third term of primary four, primary one first term I'd come at first, primary four second term I'd come at first position. But the third term, I really don't know what happened. And that was it. And it was really painful because then award was not given, like prize. It was like there was a prize given, and I really did I was not happy about it. But I forgot to say something. When I came at second position, every other time I came at first position. And when my parents come to pick me up from school, it's a day where children are getting their report card, depending on the school though. But for my school, then they actually just put it all out there and we celebrate whoever came at first. So I had an experience when I was in primary five, and I had somebody who actually later became friends with me, and we are really still cool people. And the younger brother came to me after school that very day, after picking up my result. Okay, no, that was a new term, and I've come out first in primary five period to them, or before that. I can't recall exactly, but I can't forget this. So waiting for my dad to come pick me and my younger siblings up from school. I was sitting at the school balcony, and someone approached me, happened to be my classmate younger brother, and said that my parents asked me to come tell you to allow our sister to come at first position also. The young me didn't know how to respond, honestly. So imagine your child having such an experience and didn't know what to do. But luckily, I was able to go home and I told. I may not be able to recall exactly what was said, but I know they spoke to me, encouraged me. They prayed for me also. Most importantly, I remember them praying for me. Okay. And glory to God, I still came at first position. But what happened was that the person came at first position with me. The younger brother of the person came to tell me. So there is more to your children than just physical. It goes beyond the physical. There is the spiritual aspect, you praying for them, you being intentional, you listening to them, you speaking life into their spirit, encouraging them, pushing them. So this is we coming up to say that we are going to be doing all of this, okay, giving you feedback on how best you can listen to your child. Okay, this is someone that is very intentional, and yeah, so you get to understand better. And it was really a wow experience because taking it back down lane, I can see that parents in this play a lot of roles, but some parents are kind of missing out on this because they may not, maybe the workload on them, they're just going out there for work concerns, which isn't bad, which is very nice because you really need to be working and all of that. But then you also need to be able to pay attention to your children. So we'll be able to bring you into that space where you can pay more attention to your children, speak to them in a way that they can communicate every single details to you. Okay, yeah, and you can be that best parent that your child would forever be proud about. So I can't wait to have your kids, your children, no matter the number, even those that are not your biological children, get them registered for our kids accountability. So once again, this is how we decide to mark our 2 years anniversary of Goals Achievers Up. This is a school of achievers, and we can't wait to have your children achieve those dreams, those beautiful dreams with them. So terms and condition applies though, and yeah, we'll be taking limited number per time because and then there are different packages, of course. So catch you soon. Bye.